It's Margarita Cardenas, your host with Urban Traditions. And today we have Chris Tavelli, the owner of Yield and Pause Wine Bars. They have interesting options here. They serve organic wines and foods. Welcome, Chris.
Oh, thanks for having me.
I'd like to remind our audience that more eating establishments are offering organic wines and healthy appetizers, and such is the case with Yield and Pause. Now tell us, where is Yield and Pause Wine Bars, Chris?
Pause is located on Market Street in San Francisco. The cross street is Goff. It's the central area. It's very close to the Symphony and the Opera House. Yield is in the Dogpatch neighborhood, which is essentially the southeast corner of town, about a mile south of the Giants ballpark, and very easily accessible off of 280. So we have a lot of customers from the South Bay, which has been great.
And tell us more about this Dogpatch area. It's kind of notorious, everybody, that it's kind of yuppie. So what is your take on this?
The Dogpatch is great. There's a nice mixture of people. It's very diverse, lots of artists. It's very industrial. Like I said, it's very easy to access from the South Bay. So and the Caltrain is right there. It's also not too far from the Giants ballpark. It's got the best weather in town. It's can be some upwards of 20 degrees warmer in the Dogpatch than it is in Golden Gate Park, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, so that's good to know for our Pacifica residents. They have a place nearby that's right off 280s where they can get some organic wines and healthy appetizers. And Chris, what is your background? How did this brainchild come about? All of a sudden you came up with organic wines and healthy foods.
Oh boy, it's a very long story, but I can simplify. Let's see. I went to UC Davis, and I have a major in American Studies and American History, which doesn't really get you too far into food and wine, but it's kind of a stretch. But just kind of looking at culture and thinking about behaviors and what people like to do, and combining that with my background in food and wine. I grew up, my mom owned a restaurant when I was a little kid, and then when I got to San Francisco, I started working in various restaurants, and then I finally found my home at Millennium Restaurant, which is a high-end vegan restaurant. And as a vegetarian, I love being there. And then as I started waiting tables there was opportunities for me to start doing some of the wine purchasing, because I've always loved wine. It's always come very natural to me. So I started choosing the wine lists and doing the pairings and the private parties, and that was a great time. I enjoyed it a lot, and I really kind of envisioned having my own place where the roles would be reversed, that the focus would be on the wine and not the food. Mm-hmm. So I started looking around, and I had always kind of liked this neighborhood, the Dogpatch. It's kind of funky, it's kind of far out there. Didn't have a wine bar yet, so I kind of thought, why not? And this was back in 2006, and then so we opened it up, and it's been pretty successful. So that's basically the short story.
So you opened up Yield first, then.
Yeah, that's correct. So Yield has been open for 7 years now. The project has been almost 10 years, because it took a while to get through some of the city permitting and licensing.
Right.
So I've been on the project for about 10 years, and then Pause will be 3 years this coming February.
Oh, wow. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, Yield and Pause offer private parties to their customers, and Tuesday nights is a special treat. It's called Trivia Tuesdays. Let's hear from George Duryea, the host at Pause Bar. What does he have to say?
Well, my name is George Duryea, and I got involved in trivia here at Pause because I was working on a play, and Nick Candito, good God, I hope I'm pronouncing his last name correctly. I just realized I've never thought about how to pronounce it. He was running the trivia game over at Yield, and they were looking to expand it to over here, and he came up to me after a performance one night when we were actually having an after party right over there, and he asked me if I would be interested. He said, we would do this, and I said, I would love to. Simple as that. He then said that I would get compensated, and my immediate thought was, I cannot believe that. Yes, I love you guys too. Thank you so much, Ronnie. You look beautiful like that. And so yeah, the rest is pretty much history at that point. I got asked, and when asked, I say yes. A year in, November was when we first started over here, and I remember we had 1 week in December last year where we literally had 3 people here. Not 3 teams, 3 people. They were all one team. And now we're at the point where if we only have, I love you too, Ronnie, where if we have 9 players, that's a slow night. 9 teams, that's a slow night. And yeah, so it's expanded rapidly. We almost always have a full house. It gets slower during the holidays, but even then, we're still have a decent-sized crowd. So it's going great.
And I can attest to that. Trivia Tuesday is a especially fun night. There's many customers that have become regulars just because of Tuesday trivia there. Chris, can you let us know a little? How did it start?
Okay, well, trivia, we play at both bars on Tuesday night, Pause and Yield. It starts at 7:30, but it actually started at Yield. My cousin Nick, who is the bar manager, helped his history teacher when he was in high school write a trivia game for a local restaurant. And so he was an assistant there, and when he moved to San Francisco, he brought the idea to me that, hey, it would be cool to do a trivia game in the wine bar, because no one's really doing a trivia. It's more of a pub thing. It's not necessarily a wine bar thing. So he writes all the questions. There are 30 questions. It ranges from sports to arts to current events. There's a lot of San Francisco questions. There's prizes, and it's just a great way to kind of unplug, turn your phone off. It's a great community night.
Yes, I especially love all of that, those trivias, because there's teams, and I especially love the names of the teams there. You can just go crazy. But as I said, everybody joins in, even the staff. I really enjoyed the artwork from Pause, and some of your staff has done that artwork. Tell us about that.
Absolutely, yeah. I have a very colorful staff. They're all artists in their own right. They're performing arts and fine arts, some theater as well. That's performing arts, of course. But we have some walls behind the bar that are chalk. So they've taken some liberties to do some really cool chalk art, and it's pretty fun.
Yeah, I loved the Marge Simpson and the shark. That's especially cute. And but you have some fine art there too. Have some of your people shown their stuff at the bar?
Absolutely. We have rotating artists. Definitely have had staff members do showings there, but we change it often.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, so now let's talk about the food. You're a chef. So how did you develop the menu there, the special menus, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I wanted to have a place where people could come where it wouldn't be kind of the same old, like just like prosciutto and salami, something to offer for people who are vegetarian and vegan that also goes with wine, a place for them.
And well, we have an interview from one of his staff members from his kitchen. Let's hear what Jose had to say.
No, ahí son como una familia, son buenas personas, todos. Te vas a sentir en casa uno porque, wow, ¿qué le puedo decir?
Chris, so now what about the pairings? What goes well with whatever, white wines, red wines? I mean, it's always usual red beef with red and chicken or white fish with white wine. So can you embellish a little bit more?
Yeah, it definitely stepping outside the box with pairings, absolutely. First and foremost, we're a wine bar, so people don't necessarily come in and eat all the time. You can just come in and enjoy a glass of wine, do some work on your computer, hang out with friends. But for those who do want to come in for dinner, we can definitely provide that. So we're trying to stay true to that, not being a restaurant, but being a wine bar, if that makes any sense.
Yes.
And then as far as the menu, it changes seasonally. We always have, a vegetable special. We always have our flatbread pizzas, and we always have several vegan pizzas. One thing that we do well, instead of a cream, we do a cashew cream with roasted garlic that goes well with a lot of more full-bodied white wines.
Oh, okay.
And then we do our goat cheese stuffed dates, which we're pretty well known for. They're basically goat cheese stuffed dates with pomegranate molasses and pistachios. Those go really well with the fruitier reds. We tend to steer away from those really heavy reds, the steak and potatoes, just because they don't really go with our food, and it's also not a wine that you really want to drink on its own. So we specialize in wines that are just a little bit more easy to drink.
Uh-huh. Well, they certainly are, I'll tell you that. Yes, I can attest to that. They are very easy to drink. But I especially love that one, the salmon
the smoked trout rillette?
Yeah, it's a trout.
Exactly. That is a very popular. It's a smoked trout, and it comes with fried capers and sliced apples.
Yes.
And also, one key thing is our food is all designed to share, so it's great for parties. And it comes out of the kitchen pretty quickly, so you don't need to sit down and feel pressure to order your entire menu. You can get one thing, see how you feel, order another. It's very casual.
All right, and give yourself a plug. Why especially should not just vegan people, but anybody should go to your bars?
Oh, absolutely. We definitely strive to create a very friendly atmosphere. The staff is very knowledgeable. They really like their wine. I can attest to that. It's definitely a diverse crowd. It's there's something for everybody. And it's just an overall relaxed atmosphere.
Most definitely. They have a delightful staff, and we got some interviews from some of the staff, Ronnie, and some other people. Let's go to that. Pause.
I love it. This is my favorite place ever, other than my bed and the post office and that restaurant down the street. No, I'm joking. My favorite thing about Paul is I love trivia night. It's always fun. There's always a bunch of drunk people in here trying to get dirty and nasty. I'm joking.
So what is trivia night for you?
Trivia night for me is the busiest night of the week. It's gay time. It's fun time.
I've been here for 4 years. We opened in August of 2006, and I joined the company in July of 2009, I believe. Yeah.
Now how did the Tuesday Trivia develop
and
come about?
So I used to host a trivia game up in Sacramento. My former high school history teacher ran one up there, and I ran one of his games at another venue. And when I moved down here, I was still running the game up in Sacramento. I'd still make trips up there. And when that one closed, after a while, I had always talked to Chris about doing one down here. And it just took a while. We ended up starting it when we were doing events on Tuesdays. We kind of built this whole events on Tuesdays here at the bar. Every Tuesday we had a different going on. The first Tuesday was trivia. Second, we had a flamenco night. The third, I think we had art openings. And the fourth, we did live music. And so we did that for about 6 months, and then right after we ended up going into 2012, we ended up starting it we started making it a weekly game in February of that year. And so it was every Tuesday, and we kind of built it up slowly but surely, and I built the game kind of based around what my history teacher, how he built his game. So very Trivial Pursuit style, general knowledge questions.
Yeah. And it's generally a fun night.
Oh yeah, no, it's generally really fun. It's always a packed house. Everyone's enjoying themselves. It's fun and friendly competition, and that's always kind of been the big thing that I push.
And would you say, have you been to the game with Fonz?
No, I've been there once because they run at the same time. We run them both on Tuesdays at 7:30. I don't ever get to go out there and watch the game played over there. But every once in a while, George and I have switched locations just to keep things interesting.
Right.
So then I get to see how it's run down there, and he gets to see it down over here.
Yeah. Well, I have to say this place is a little larger, or
Smaller. It's actually it's about half the size.
Oh, I think that's what he said.
Yeah, it's about half the size. So we get a lot less teams in here, but we get right. I don't know. I mean, we get a fair amount of teams. We just don't. They're all compacted in. They're a little bit more pressed in, whereas Paws they can spread out a little bit more.
That's true. Yeah. And so is the menu the same?
Very similar. The wine list is identical. The food menu is a little different. We have a smaller kitchen here. Paws has a full kitchen, so they can do a lot more. Like they do like they do like French fries. We have potatoes. There's little tiny things like that.
And so, Chris, so what is the setup for the bars then?
So at Yield, basically, it's a small place. We have couches. It's a lot of communal seating. There's some bar seating, and on nice nights, we also offer outdoor seating as well, which is great. And at Paws, we also have a bar area that's similar to Yield, but in addition at Paws, we have a room that's really great for events. It's kind of close a curtain. It's pretty private. It's great for groups of 10 to 40. We get a lot of after work groups. We've had some baby showers. We've had some wedding receptions. It's really a nice room.
Yeah.
And also how we differ is that we don't charge any minimums or any fees like that. It's basically just whatever wine and food you want. So we're very flexible.
And do you do special menus for them?
We can do special menus. We have things on our website as well.
Yes. And Yield does the same thing. They have a special room for.
If it's more than 12 to 15, then we accommodate you at Paws. Yield is a little bit smaller.
Oh, I see. Okay. Oh, because it's more communal.
Yes, exactly.
Well, we've come to the end of the show, and I recommend for everybody to go and check out Yield, especially the Pacifica residents. It's so much closer if you don't want to go all the way in the city. But parking is not that bad over in the Goff area, or Market and Goff. So I recommend that you enjoy, especially if you don't have anything to do on a Tuesday night. It's especially fun. Jog that memory, and especially as people that have been around longer, and we know a lot of trivia from the 60s to 70s and beyond. Anyway, thank you so much, Chris, for coming.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, and hey, we'll see you next time. This is Urban Traditions. Happy gardening, everyone.